Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to the Digital Forge Broadcast Network this Friday night. Loose Lug Nuts TWCVM in the house here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the kickoff of the Bump and Run Street Stock Series, and a lot of bumping and banging and a lot of runs will be made here tonight. Who will take victory when that checkered flag falls after 90 laps of good hard race action? Only time will tell as they're about ready to move into their qualifying session. We're going to go ahead and play the Star Spangled Banner, and when we come back, we got a lot to talk about with this series and things to expect. So don't go anywhere, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to the Digital Forge Broadcast Network. I'm Dustin Caldwell, and tonight we kick off a new series with the Loose Lug Nuts and TWCVM Racing Leagues here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the Bump and Run Street Stock Series, 90 laps to kick off this first of an 8-race series. And it's going to be some great racing here tonight. Loose Lug Nuts proud to bring back some good short track racing. And they asked TWCVM to jump in with it. And tonight it's a dual league here kicking off this series. Want to give a shout out tonight to the league sponsors, or the race sponsors, should say, RaceGear.com, one of them. Check them out. Good fan news. Powered by the fans. Some good merchandise as well. Find them on the web at RaceGear.com. The Wise Guyz, that's Billy Wise Band, and one of the drivers you're going to see racing here tonight. He actually has a band, and they put on some great shows from what I hear, so you have to check them out. Got the links down there in the YouTube description of this video. And also over the top paints and designs, you can find that link as well. Looks like qualifying has come to a close. We're going to go ahead and get down to that grid to show you tonight where your drivers will be starting. Taking a look at the grid, here is what it looks like tonight. Brian Tribble on the pole. And it looks like to his outside, Thomas Axum, the number 13 machine, will be starting there. Looking back to the inside lane of that second row, the number 54 of Wildman, Nick Reynolds, is at that inside row. To the outside of in fourth position, the number 30 of Ken Belanger. Looking back to that third row in fifth position, rounding out your top five, the number 10 of Jason Covington. To his outside, the number 4 of West Holland. In seventh position tonight, the number 89 of Tim Campbell. To the outside of him, the 96 of Craig Covington. In ninth position, Ronald James, and the number 51 to the outside of him. In 10th, rounding out that top 10, the 076 of Stephen Kinney. Looking on back, there is what the remainder of the grid looks like here at Charlotte. Total of 26 cars down there fielding out the grid here for this initial race to the Bump and Run Street Stock Series. Pace car going to be set to take him around one time of pacing. And we'll be off in that 90 laps here at Charlotte this evening. You can definitely tell these drivers are ready to go as the flag band makes his way to the stand. Pace cars should be ready to roll. And they begin making their way off of the grid into the first base lap. It doesn't get any more grassroots than this, folks. Good old-fashioned street stocks. You're going to see a lot of metal torn here tonight. A lot of asphalt grinding, some passes, inside moves, some great race action. These are the cars you'd find at your local home track. And tonight here at Charlotte, it's going to be no different. 26 total cars making their way down that backstretch, led by that Mustang iRacing pace car into turn 3 of this 1 mile track. Here is your race information. Mile and a half track here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 71 degrees in the air, 60% humidity, partly cloudy with a 71 degree track temperature. Pace cars set to go into the pits, this time by flagman ready to give the signal.
Green, green, green.
And the green flag's in the air. Here we go. making their way into the front stretch in the first actual green flag lap. What a battle up front as the 13 of Thomas Axum is at the lead and going haywire in the grass. The 89 of Tim Campbell thought he was a little bit north of this track at a dirt track, was doing some agricultural racing. He'll be able to bring it back under control and rejoin the track without bringing out a yellow. Thomas Axum now into turns 3 and 4 with that 22 of Brian Tribble behind him. The number 30 machine to the outside, Ken Belanger. Running that high line, making it work. The 54 of Nick Reynolds and the 10 of Jason Covington across that start-finish line into the third lap. These front 5 drivers are starting to pull away as the 51 of Ronald James back there in 6th position looks to run them down right there behind Jason Covington. Ronald James trying to hold off the 18 of Ralph Wheeler. Look at that car field coming into turn number 3. Some near 3 wide action as Brian Tribble just ahead of Nick Reynolds. Jason Covington providing some bump draft support up there behind the 30 of Belanger. Into turn number 2 they go now. A nice 4-pack up front as Ken Belanger in the 30 machine looks to be side by side with Thomas Axum into turn number 3 here on lap number 4. Jason Covington now has Nick Reynolds behind him. Brian Tribble to the inside of Jason Covington into the front stretch. And Axum nearly making contact with the grass there. Tribble to the bumper is going to make some contact with grass. Near 3 wide action heading into turn 1. Johnny Smith back there behind the 51 of Ronald James. Ralph Wheeler falls to 8th position. Jason Hughes has now made his way up into 9th position. And now Brian Tribble side by side with Thomas Axum into the front stretch. Across that start-finish line into lap number 6. Tribble to the low side has Nick Reynolds, who's going to make contact with that apron. He comes back up onto the track, saves it. Into the backstretch they go. Axum now looks to climb up to the side of the 22. A little bit of bump action right there in the backstretch towards that third turn. Tribble still in the lower groove as Nick Reynolds looks to provide some bump draft to edge out Thomas Axum. Let's see what happens here in the front stretch. Thomas Axum up high, no one there to help. Tribble takes over the race lead here at lap 7. Nick Reynolds trying to get around Thomas Axum. Nice little battle here in the top 5. Ken Belanger there behind the 13 of Axum. Now Ronald James to the inside, that 51 NOS machine. Front 3 still battling. Tribble getting a little bit of contact from Reynolds. Right in front of Johnny Smith, the 035 car. You can see the battle between Belanger and James. It does look like that 30 car is falling off the pace just a little bit. Jason Hughes able to stay out in front of the 10 of Jason Covington. Covington was up in the top 5 early in the first 4 laps, has fallen off the pace there. Now finds himself back by Dode Hoskins, that 66 black and green car, working that lower group in turn number 1. Right behind him though, Wreckham West Holland, number 4 machine, finds himself to the outside of the 020, that is Ted Quinsel. One thing to note about tonight in this race, folks, when you see these drivers with a 0 in front of their number, as we see Quinsel there in that 020 Jack Daniels machine, that denotes that they are rookies in this series with the Loose Lug Nuts League. And it looks like we got a good rookie battle with AJ Brissett in the 033 right there behind Quinzel into turn number 1. Really right in that bumper as Stephen Kinney as well. Now makes his way up into 15th position. To challenge Brissett out of turn number 4, the 076 machine. Driven on the side quarter panel there coming out of the 4th turn. Back up to the front in turn number 1. Tribble and Axum still battling out. Nick Reynolds now has a partner to the inside, the 51 of Ronald James. Making his way up into the top 4. Just outside the top 4, Johnny Smith, the 035 rookie. Rounding out the top 5. Tribble and Axum still battling across the start-finish line, but this lap is going to go to the 13 of Thomas Axum. Had a nose over the 22 of Tribble. Johnny Smith behind Ronald James. Back in 6th position beside the 30 of Ken Belanger. Jason Covington now making his way back up towards the front, has Wes Holland behind him. Still a good battle up front. These guys have been side by side. Nick Reynolds a little loose there behind the Axum. Here comes Ronald James to the bumper of Brian Tribble. Tribble's going to climb the track into 4. Almost making contact with Axum there. Axum still got Tribble by a nose and will hang on to the race lead.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
Caution flag comes out, and we have got a big incident here in the turn number 1. Looking like one of the rookies, Ted Quinzel, involved in this one. Go back and take a look at the replay. So there it is. Wreckham West Holland living up to his name there, the number 4 machine. We'll get into the side of the 30 of Ken Belanger. They both end up in the wall, spinning around. You're going to see Quinzel there. Rookie's going to slide down across pit road. Every other driver pretty much making it through, and a big collision there from the 14 machine. That is Robert Panic Mattis, and possibly living up to his name with a little bit of panic action. Will make contact there with Ken Belanger, pretty much ending the front end of that machine. So the first caution flag of the night comes out here on lap number 15. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, have a lot of more race action to come your way. This is the Bump and Run Straight Stock Series here on the Digital Forge Broadcast Network.
How much longer do you want to wait for Dave to talk about this dart release?
Why? What's he doing?
I'm pretty sure he's playing Pokemon again.
Again?
Yes, again.
Green flag, green
Green
flag.
flag flies, and we are back to the race on lap number 19. Nick Reynolds setting that pace, coming back to the green flag, had the 51 of Ronald James to the outside. Nice little battle going on here in the top 10 into the first turn. Restart's always a scary time in racing. And it looks like so far everything is going to be clean. The number 10 of Jason Covington making his way up into that second position behind the 54 of Nick Reynolds. Jason Hughes, the 58 machine, in third. Ronald James fourth, AJ Brissett, the rookie, in the top 5. Here is your top 5 as described prior. Ronald James going to take the middle groove through turns 1 and 2. Be to the outside of Jason Hughes. Down the backstretch into the third turn here on lap number 20. Ronald James still working that middle groove in turn number 4. To the inside, AJ Brissett. As Brian Tribble tonight with a total of 7 laps left.
All right, man, caution is out. Caution is out.
And we've got another caution flag. And it looks like a major pileup. Tim Campbell coming back to the green flag. When the lights come out the pace car, got the wave around. Fortunately, gets caught up in this incident. Let's go back and take a look at the replay. Following Robert Mattis, the 14 Gojo machine. And you can see, wow, take a look at that. 077 of Danny Lawson going to go for some air time. John Hedrick's going to get spun out as well into the wall. Little safer barrier action there. 66 machine just ahead. That is Dode Hoskins. Take a look at the 14 of Robert Mattis. Just go end over end. Tire side up. The 89 of Tim Campbell there without a front end on that machine. Unbelievable. So the drivers will get some repair action down pit road as Nick Reynolds looks to be out to the race lead here on lap number 23. Climb on board here with the 51 machine, or 54 machine, I should say. As we'll try to get you a driver interview here. Nick Reynolds, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there?
What's up, Dustin?
Well, being a Georgia driver coming up here to North Carolina in hostile territory here tonight, you find yourself up there in the lead position, started third here on the grid. Tell us a little bit about how that car is handling tonight.
Car's handling pretty good, man. This is it's all about the draft here tonight. It's I tell you what though, it's fun, man. We had a really good pit stop there and beat Thomas and Brian out. I took 4 tires and full tank of gas. I don't really know how I beat them out like that, but we did.
So coming into this series, the Bump and Run Street Stock Series, being around a lot of these drivers, is there any expectations from any drivers in particular you're going to keep an eye out for?
No, there's a lot of good drivers in here. Everybody, they don't run over you. So Loose Lug Nuts is a really good league. Have a lot of fun here.
All right, any additional thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for your current spot up first?
Loose Lug Nuts, John and Jeff, they do a good job in the league. Alan Madden paints all my cars. John painted this one, though. Digital Ford Broadcasting. You do a great job up in the booth.
All right. Well, best of luck to you in the laps to come, and we'll see what you got here, buddy.
Hey, thank you, Dustin.
There you have it, folks. The 54 of Nick Reynolds will be taking us back to green on lap number 26, as the lights should be coming off the pace car this time by. Rockstar Energy out there on that, and he definitely wants you to see his name. Big old Reynolds there underneath that 54. Sporting the overtop paints and designs, one of the sponsors of the league and race series. Jason Covington back there behind him. Again, tonight's race sponsors out here, racegear.com. Find them on the web. They are powered by fans. A lot of great news articles you can find out there if you're a big-time race fan, want some good insider news, and possibly some options to purchase some diecast, some other types of race merchandise. Find them on the web, racegear.com. The Wise Guyz and Over the Top Paints and Designs, the other two sponsors out there you can find in the links to the video there. If you haven't done so already, folks, make sure you hit subscribe. If you're just tuning in for the first time, you can find out all about who we are here in the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network at forgebroadcasting.com and on Facebook. Give us a like there, facebook.com/Digital Forge Broadcasting. Pace car now heading out of 3 into turn number 4 will be set to go into the pits. It's lap number 26 for the 54. As he'll have to battle the number 10 of Jason Covington to the outside. Jason Hughes in the 58 machine has the rookie AJ Brissett to the outside of him. Here we go. Pace car into the pits.
Green flag.
The green flag flies. We're back to the race. Lap 26. Couple of drivers down on the apron through the first couple of turns. A little bit of contact will do that. They will rejoin the field back in the backstretch heading towards turn number 3. Jason Hughes now to the inside of Jason Covington. Two Jasons not making a right, but they are battling hard for second position heading into lap number 27. Covington with a beautiful line in the middle groove is going to look to make his way up to the side of Nick Reynolds, challenging in the backstretch for that lead slot. Some momentum out of turn number 2. Here comes Jason Covington, Nick Reynolds battling for the race lead in turn number 3. Hughes back there behind him has third position on lockdown with AJ Brissett, the 033. Having a rookie behind him as well, Johnny Smith, the 035 machine. Covington to the outside, Hughes now to the inside to the bumper of Nick Reynolds into turn number 1. Covington being able to work that outside line, starting to expel some grip. Burning it off, working that middle line into the backstretch. Really making that line work for him, but how long will he be able to hold it? And can he get around the 54 of Nick Reynolds? Craig Covington back there. Jason Covington's father there, to the guy that you see in the 10 car that we've been talking about. His father's right back there. The 96 machine has Bad Bob Wells in the 38 to the inside as they come into the front stretch towards turn number 1. Rookies everywhere. The 076 of Stephen Kenny back there now to the outside of Bad Bob Wells and really on the bumper of Craig Covington into the backstretch. Into turn number 4, Jason Hughes, Jason Covington find themselves yet again side by side into the front stretch here, going into lap number 30. Craig Covington trying to hold off that hungry rookie, the 076 of Stephen Kenny. Father and son about to be right in front of one another as Craig Covington in the Lowe's machine to the outside of A.J. Brissett, being pushed by the 0776 of Stephen Kinney. Now comes up right behind his son. Take a look at this in the top 10 here, folks. We have 3 rookies: A.J. Brissett, Johnny Smith, and Stephen Kinney. Nice little battle into the backstretch as Covington still running the high line. He's going to try to gain some momentum here in turns 3 and 4 to be able to get around the 54 of Nick Reynolds. As Nick Reynolds now making his way towards that start-finish line. Picks up a total of 16 laps led tonight. Barely, though, as Covington, Ronald James making some contact with the wall. Looks like that tunnel turn, a little bump there, may have got him a little bit loose. Made some contact with the wall, and he is going to fall back in a hurry. Father and son Covington into turn number 3 in the high groove with a rookie behind him. 3 guys in the low line: Reynolds, Hughes, and Brissett. Looks like Jason Covington's going to be credited that one, taking away a potential 17 laps led for Nick Reynolds that time around. As Covington still in the middle groove. And take a look at this. Here comes the hungry rookie of Stephen Kinney, making it 3 wide into the 3rd turn to the outside of A.J. Brissett. Covington, Craig. The 96 Lowe's machine is going to go up to the wall and allow that rookie by, as he now makes his way to the bumper of Jason Covington into the front stretch. Brissett now making his way up towards Jason Covington. Jason Hughes on the bumper of Nick Reynolds into that first turn. Reynolds out to the lead solid as that battle for second behind them between the 2 Jasons yet again. West Holland, one of the drivers we saw get involved in an incident. Number 4 machine started 6th position here tonight. Fell back as far as 18th position, has worked his way back up now into 12th as he's to the outside of Brian Tribble. Really trying to work that outside groove. Some of these drivers are actually making it happen. Craig Covington, we saw hit the wall in turn 3 a couple laps ago, and now has fallen back to 8th position. Right there beside another rookie, Ted Quitzel, in that Jack Daniels 020 machine. Jason Covington trying to edge out Nick Reynolds. He'll have a lap lead credited to him here into lap 36. For that 35th lap, that picks up a total of 3 laps led here for the race. Still a nice little battle going on here in the top 5 as we come across the start-finish line. We'll get you an updated top 5. Here's what your top 5 looks like. Covington, Reynolds, Kinney, Hughes, and Wells. Race summary so far in the left side of your screen. 36 laps completed, 8 lead changes, 2 total cautions. Some great racing taking place so far. Coming up next week, we're going to be at 5 flags for 100 laps. At this tonight, the first of an 8-race series. Other tracks you're going to see taking place in this series. You got Iowa coming up on the 26th. Bristol, Southern National, New Smyrna, Rockingham, and finishing it out on September 30th at Richmond. like Jason Covington's going to have a nose this time by him. Nearly a full car length on Nick Reynolds. As they head into turn number 1, Reynolds still in that lower groove, and take a look at the 76 of Stephen Kenny now. Gets around Jason Hughes into that third position slot on the bumper. And here comes a little bit of series naming action, some bump and run, as this rookie is going to try to put the move on Nick Reynolds to take over that lower slot lead. As he pushes, though, in turn number 4, right in front of the 58 of Jason Hughes. A.J. Brissett's going to have a doorway opened up on that lower groove. Reynolds now back to the inside. Jason Covington heading towards turn number 1 here on lap number 40. Hughes way up high in the track in turns 1 and 2. Finds himself back there with A.J. Brissett in the top 5. Stephen Kenny now on the bumper yet again here in turn number 4, right there behind Nick Reynolds. And some contact to bring some looseness for that 076, and that's going to bring both A.J. Brissett and Jason Hughes back to the bumper of that driven 076 of Stephen Kenny. Kenny making contact with the apron in turn number 3. Side-by-side action into the front stretch, heading into the 42nd lap. And Johnny Smith, Ted Quinzel. It is a sea of rookie drivers here up front. Giving these old loose lug nut veterans a run for their money here tonight at Charlotte. As Jason Covington and Jason Hughes now work together in that outside groove. Into turn number 3. Behind Quinzel, you see the number 4 of Wreckham West Holland to the outside. Has moved now. We last saw him in 12th position. He's up to the top 8. Climbing up 4th position. Still working that outside groove. Bad Bob Wells in 9th. Alan Madding in the 317 machine. Looks to take Bad Bob on the outside. Has Ralph Wheeler behind him. Pit action happening now. As we see Nick Reynolds and company, Jason Covington as well, make their way down pit road. Gonna take some fuel there. 30% total of a tank of fuel is what is being allowed here tonight per time. Craig Covington coming off of pit road. Let's see who gets off pit road first. Some tires actually being taken as well. 4 tires. See these cars really gassing up for the long haul as we are at the halfway point of tonight's race. Here comes the driver down pit road. And it's going to be A.J. Brissett, Jason Covington, Stephen Kenny, Johnny Smith, and finally Nick Reynolds makes it off pit road. Ted Quinzel. And also the 32 machine making his way off of pit road. What a race we have got going here, folks. Beautiful, beautiful race action. We are going to take a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. This is the Bump and Run Straight Stock Series here in Charlotte.
So I'm Dan Garrison, engineer at iRacing. I've been working on dynamic track and wanted to take the lab coat off to kind of give an update on what I've been doing to enhance things on the asphalt side, what we're kind of calling the dynamic track version 2. When we started looking at dirt and the interaction between the tire and the track, kind of pointed us to some things we could improve on the asphalt side as well. We were able to kind of rework the calculations that account for heat transferring generally in the direction from the tire to the track. The track will cool a little bit faster when cars are not on it, but more significantly, cars running on the track are going to impart more energy into it, bringing the temperature up and changing the racing experience so that you do have to be wary of the track getting hot and reducing your grip. I've been rethinking some of the calculations that determine kind of how the rubber is torn, whether it's how much is torn from the tire, how much is torn from a rubbered-in track. I've made some changes so that rolling tire will pick up more rubber. We also looked at the thickness of the rubber under the contact patch and realized we can make improvements to the model there. As a result, we're able to make the tire respond a little bit more to how much rubber is there. We're able to influence how fast the track rubbers in areas where the tires are working hard. So I'm excited about these changes that we're making. The temperature in the track is going to be a lot more dynamic. It's going to mean you're going to have to dive around looking for the cool parts of the track. I think it's going to make the different lines come in and change the racing experience, and I'm really kind of excited to see how this is going to change things following the September build when it comes out.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, this Friday night to the Bump and Run Street Stock Series opening race here at Charlotte. It's been a solid 50 laps so far. If we take a look at the race summary in your left-hand side of your screen, 51 laps completed, 16 lead changes, 3 total cautions. Been a great night of just good hard race action. Some of the drivers are going to be getting a wave around when we go back, when the lights come off that pace car. As they are starting to resort the field. We see a lot of drivers getting the wave around. Ronald James, one of the drivers. Should be Brian Tribble back at the helm of the field. See the number 8 machine down there having some issues. That's Travis Zudema. Currently running 16th position, 2 laps down. Race control might want to throw another flag here. Allow some of these drivers to catch up. Zudema having a little animosity there with Ted Quinzel. Pace cars into the pits.
Green flag, green
We're
flag.
back to the race. Half the field getting waved around. And Tribble out there all by his lonesome into the race lead here on lap 54. Tell you, if a lot of these drivers tonight definitely going to have some issues at this point in the race. Feel like they really got the shaft from race control here. As you can see, half the field catching up out of turns 1 and 2. No problem for this guy right here, Brian Tribble, the 22 machine. Coldwell Banker, the sponsor there on the side. Florida driver tonight started at the pole position. Total of 11, now 12 laps led. Currently working his way into turns 1 and 2 here on lap 55. This is your second position driver right here, Reckham West Holland. Guy who started 6th, been as far back as 16th position. Slowly but surely he's working his way back through the field. Driver behind him, the 32 machine, that is Billy Wise. Although Billy Wise is back in 18th position currently. It's AJ Brissett, the 033 machine. That rookie driver is the 3rd position driver. Thomas Axum back there to the outside of Brian Tribble. Axum going 1 lap down as Tribble's going to pass him just with a little bit of a nose. Axum back in 15th position. Still trying to hold on to that lead lap. Tribble having some issues. Going to the apron in the backstretch. Axum now back to the lead lap just ahead of the race leader, Brian Tribble. West Holland has that rookie approaching on the outside, AJ Brissett. Looks to be side by side with Reckham West Holland here in turns 1 and 2. Now a side-by-side race action here for the 2nd position slot. West Holland, the Jimmy Johns sponsored car into the front stretch here, just out ahead of AJ Brissett with a little bit of a nose across that start-finish line. This is your 4th position driver, Ralph Wheeler. Florida driver here tonight started 11th. Hart charged his way up here into the top 5. Currently 5.035 seconds behind Brian Tribble. What a battle back here. For that top 5 slot is currently the 317 of Alan Netting. Holding on to that is 66 of Dode Hoskins to the inside is going to pick up that top 5 slot. These are majority of the drivers who got a wave around and pretty much at the restart, coming back after the caution to the green flag, these guys were not quite around the track. as most of them didn't really get a chance to pass the pace car, I should say, as I'm losing my voice. Didn't get a chance to pass the pace car until the backstretch, which by that time made it really tough. One of the rookie drivers, that 077 machine of Danny Lawson, having some issues down there. A lot of damage on that car as he's down on the apron. And he's going to come back out on the track. Right in front of all these drivers, Dode Hoskins has to go down on the apron to miss him. Nice skill there by that 66 of Hoskins to avoid contact here with Danny Lawson. As Lawson will come down pit road to pick up some repair action on that 077 machine. Backstretch of lap number 62 as the 22 looks to pick up a total of 20 laps led when he crosses that start-finish line this time by is Brian Tribble. Enjoying the fruits of that restart where he pretty much was all out by his lonesome when the green flags fell. West Holland still in front of A.J. Brissett in second position. About 0.6 of a second behind Brian Tribble, and they're moving quick. As here comes West Holland in the backstretch. Holland on the move. Here is a in-car cam here with West Holland, as now he's looking to get to the back of the bumper of Brian Tribble. You just see the banking here in turns 3 and 4. Hearing those tires really work to maintain grip. As Holland's going to fade it out close to the wall, right there at the start-finish line. And now he's battling for the race lead here into lap 65. And right behind some lap traffic, 3 wide in the backstretch. Brian Tribble with nowhere to go as A.J. Brissett behind him. And now Tribble's got to start looking to move these lap cars out of the way. Should probably see some blue flag action from these guys, getting them out of the way for the race leader. As now he's got 2 hungry guys approaching from behind. Brissett, the rookie, right on his bumper as Wreckham West Holland, the Ford Jimmy John's machine, to the outside here in turns 1 and 2. And the doorway opens up for West Holland in the outside groove as he's now going to get right up with Ted Quinzel. Takes over the race lead here in lap 66. But he's going to push high in 4. That's going to allow the 22 of Tribble to come back. Holland is going to have the race lead. We got another lead change taking place here in the race. Lap traffic not moving or bunching for Tribble in that lower groove, and that's posing some problems. As Tribble, giving a friendly nudge, says, come on guys, I need through. And Tribble making contact with Quinzel and causing himself to fall back. That opens the doorway for A.J. Brissett, and here comes the rookie to the inside. Across the start-finish line into lap number 68, A.J. Brissett now looks to move into second position as he'll go to the lower groove here in turn number 1. Tribble's going to push high to try to maintain some positioning, some ground here, but it will fall behind the 033 in the backstretch. So just like that, in a matter of a couple laps, Tribble has gone from first to third. with the result of a couple lap cars, Thomas Axum and Ted Quinzel just ahead of them. And now Brissett comes down pit road, a little short pit action here for the 033. Let's see what he decides to take here. Is he going to take tires or is he just going for fuel here? Johnny Smith and Stephen Kinney, other rookies coming down pit road. Here's Bad Bob Wells, Nick Reynolds. Here comes your race leader, West Holland, with Brian Tribble behind him. West Holland to the outside of Thomas Axum in the backstretch. He's looking to get clear of that 13 to come down into the lower groove. Axum not wanting to go a lap down as Quinzel currently 1 lap down. Tribble still behind Quinzel. Coming across the start finish line, lap 71. 20 laps remaining, folks. It is winded down quick. So seeing the fact that A.J. Brissett decided to short pit, we jump back to 3rd position in the 66 of Dode Hoskins. This Florida driver tonight, 15th position on the grid is where he started. Currently running 3rd as the 3-7 of Manning to the outside, but Manning is going to come down in the lower groove right in front of Nick Reynolds. Nick Reynolds currently in 16th position, about a couple laps down. Craig Covington to the outside. Covington Craig is back in 15th position. West Holland has Brian Tribble to the inside now as Ted Quince is able to get back on the lead lap. These guys are fighting the inevitable invisible barrier of going 1 lap down as Thomas Axum appears to be at the safe point just ahead of the rookie driver Ted Quinzel in the Jack Daniels machine. West Holland trying to be freaky fast on the outside in that Jimmy John's 4 car as he comes into the front stretch. Will have a no still yet over Brian Tribble, and that's going to give him a total of 14 laps led here at Charlotte. Quinzel now pushing up the track into turn number 4. Luckily, Holland was up high enough to not be affected. And now Holland trying to get around Axum. Axum fighting to stay on the lead lap. As we take a look at the field, the top 6 drivers on the lead lap, folks. Ted Quinzel now looks to go down pit road. There goes Thomas Axum, and a sigh of relief for Brian Tribble has opened up. And as it stands right now, 3 cars on the lead lap. West Holland, Brian Tribble, Thomas Axum, Dode Hoskins. Hoskins is down on pit road getting some fuel. So that we should see Holland and Tribble make their way down as they now begin to go onto the apron. So your race leader, Wreckham West Holland, in the Jimmy John's number 4 car with the Coldwell Banker 22 of Brian Tribble right there behind him. Start to come down pit road. That's going to allow some relief for these drivers who are 1 lap down to make their way back onto the lead lap. And Holland to the pit box first. Tribble to the pole position pit box. There goes Thomas Axum. And Travis Zudema out of pit road. And it looks like a quick change there. That pit crew on the 22 machine. As now Holland's just taking fuel. Let's see what happens. Who's going to make it off first? Holland ready to go. You can see the flames coming out. They drop it. Here goes West Holland off of pit road. Brian Tribble still waiting. And there goes Tribble. So Holland's going to make it off of pit road, still in the race lead. Tribble not too far behind him as they're going to make their way back onto the track in the backstretch. Holland with a nice solid gap, about 0.8 of a second over Tribble, as Tribble just now getting into the backstretch. So nice pit strategies here for both West Holland and Brian Tribble. Jason Hughes out there, currently in 13th position. And at this point here in the race, it looks like West Holland has checked out, folks. 7.52 seconds ahead as we show you the driver information here on Brian Tribble. Nearly 8-second gap between him and West Holland. The rookie AJ Brissett right there behind the 22 of Tribble. That is a position battle as now Brissett to the outside of Tribble. Looks to battle for that second position slot as they head into turn number 3, and Brissett will have it. And judging by how Tribble is driving, he is not too happy here heading into lap number 80. Tribble not too happy with that restart. Although he did have a good solid restart after the last caution flag. Had a nice little gap over the field. Give credit where credit is due to this guy right here, Wreckham West Holland in the Jimmy John's number 4 car. Able to rally back. Had a rough start early tonight, started 6th. He's worked his way from 16th to 12th down to 8th. And just continued to dig through that field. And the fruits of his labor has paid off here with about 10 laps to go. And that 8-second gap between him and now AJ Brissett, who's in second position and looking to pull away from the 22 of Brian Tribble. Still one of the stunning factors tonight is when that caution flag gave all the way around to half the field. Still made it difficult for a lot of these drivers to get back towards that. End up going a couple laps down. Tribble now looking to battle Brissett for the position. We jump back into 4th, doubling the time up to 14 seconds off your race leader. Here is Jason Covington trying to hold on to 4th position right in front of the 317 of Alan Madding. Ronald James as well behind Madding, just outside the top 5. Another rookie here in the top 10, back in 7th position, Johnny Smith. just ahead of Stephen Kinney. Kinney, though, currently in 8th position, and Doe Hoskins, one of the drivers that was up there in the top 3 before going down pit road, is currently in 9th position. Rounding out your top 10 so far here with 8 to go is the 96 of Craig Covington. Good night there for the Covington family, 4th and 10th position. Son ahead of father. Seven laps to go. It's going to be this guy's race to lose here, folks. West Holland into the backstretch. Although A.J. Brissett and Brian Tribble trying to work together while fighting at the same time for that second position slot. Begin to work their way up. They have gone down to just under 6 seconds behind West Holland. West Holland being by his lonesome, 2 cars working better together than one. And that time around, folks, it looks like it's down to a 5.3 second gap now. 6 laps to go. About 9 miles, folks, 9 miles. Question is, could A.J. Brissett and Brian Tribble close the gap? That 5.3 second gap in less than 9 miles. And they're now under 5 seconds at about a 4.9. The rally still continues here with less than 5 laps to go as A.J. Brissett and Brian Tribble look to close the gap to this guy right here, West Holland, who's getting the draft peeled off of him right there with Ted Quinzel to his outside. That's actually slowing him down. Jason Hughes approaching now from the lower groove right behind West Holland. 4 laps to go. You can see right there, as we see West Holland coming down the backstretch, camera view is going to show it. Right there is Brissett and Tribble still in the same backstretch. No help for this guy. He's going to have to do it by himself. Ladies and gentlemen, into the front stretch. It's going to be 3 to go for West Holland. As they go across the start-finish line, there is Brissett and Tribble bump drafting. Really working together to close that gap as they're 4.5 seconds now behind. Less than 4.5 miles. Can they do it? Slowly but surely, time and distance is running out for those 2 drivers. Quinzel now ahead of Holland with 2 laps to go. The next time by, the white flag will be in the air. And looking at the time, they're not really going to do it as Tribble decides to go for it, leaving Brissett behind. Which actually, that's going to work to his disadvantage, as they were making some really good time running together. Tribble, being the faster of the 2 cars, decides to put some distance between him and the rookie Brissett. As Holland comes across the start-finish line, the white flag in the air. 1 more time to go, as he has now up to 29 laps led. West Holland looks to make it an even 30 when he goes to the checkered flag. Into the backstretch, just 2 more turns separate this guy in the victory for the opener of the Bump and Run Street Stock Series. Here he comes, folks, into turns 3 and 4. Down the front stretch, coming to the checkered flag, your winner here tonight, Wreckham West Holland takes victory. Brian Tribble in second, A.J. Brissett in third, Jason Covington And Alan Matting rounding out your top 5. Celebratory fireworks in the air. We look to go up to our blimp cam. Maybe we can catch some of those fireworks just off of turn number 3. Little congratulatory bump there from Tribble to Holland. Celebration and fireworks for this guy right here. Total of 30 laps led tonight for the Jimmy John's number 4 of West Holland. Started 6th on the grid. Really had to dig his way back through the field. And that hard work, not quitting when he was down and out as deep as 16 positions in the field. Had the beautiful pit strategies that really propelled him back to the front. So as we take a look here at the final race summary, out of the 90 laps completed, look at that double-digit sweet number, 18 lead changes. Great race action taking place. Although the one incident off that third caution flag coming back to the restart, pretty much majority of the field pretty much receiving the theoretical shaft, if you will, from race control. But nevertheless, some of these guys really worked their way back, had a good short pit strategy to climb their way back to the front of the field. That's amazing there. Out of 26 total cars here tonight, we only had 3 cautions. Just some good hard racing taking place. Here's a quick look at your top 10. West Holland, Brian Tribble, A.J. Brissett, Jason Covington, Alan Matting, Ronald James, Stephen Kinney, Johnny Smith, one of the rookies there, Dode Hoskins, and Craig Covington. So that's about your top 10 there. So we are going to go live now and talk to the third position finisher. Rookie here.
Yeah.
He's a rookie here in the Loose Lugnuts Racing League, denoted by that 0 in front of the 33, AJ. Tonight, coming into the Bump and Run Street Stock Series, being a new guy out there, bringing with you, I believe it was Stephen Kinney, and I think Johnny Smith is one of your other buddies there. You guys making your debut here in the Loose Lugnuts and TWC VM leagues. Tell us, what was your expectations coming into Charlotte tonight, knowing you got 90 laps ahead of you, and you're trying to make a statement, and you finished third?
Yeah, I've been racing these street stocks at Charlotte for this past week. Done probably about 200 laps here, but my biggest expectation here was probably finishing top 10. Just getting used to running around all these guys. I haven't ran around them since the Super Speedway series.
This nice mile and a half coming back in the street stocks here. A little bumping and banging. You're really working that lower groove here tonight. Is there any drivers you're going to have an eye out for heading forward next week into Five Flags?
Yeah, I mean, I always rely on my teammates. I get Danny Lawson, Jonathan Smith, and Stephen Kinney. They always help me out here, and they helped me out a lot at Charlotte. I struggle a lot here, but also Brian and Wesley.
All right, any additional thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for your third place finish tonight?
Yes, to my teams, All-Star Racing, Driven Motorsports, and also the Next Gen Studios.
All right.
And all my teammates.
All right, well, congratulations. We look forward to seeing what you got next week heading into Five Flags. Thank you. Moving on through the field here, we're going to go to the second position finisher here tonight. One of the drivers that had a bittersweet time. Not only did he get the pole here tonight, really battled, but Brian, we got to talk about that restart after the third caution. Coming back, pretty much half the field got the wave around, and you were pretty much solo to take over that race lead coming back to the green flag. Had a nice big gap, and West Holland with A.J. Brissett began to run you down, and then after that, West Holland just took off. After that last pit stop that you made, he really got you there. But the battle with A.J. Brissett at the end, you decided to go around him and hang on for second position. Tell us a little bit about your night.
Yeah, where to start, right? So, on that third caution there, the deal was saving fuel was what it was all about. The pit stop, yeah, it could take 50 seconds if you need to fill your tank. So, I let a couple of lap cars by, and I was just cruising behind them, saving fuel. And I knew they were going to catch me. And hats off to Wes; he did a great job. That was cool. But on that last pit stop, the major brain malfunction on my part, I thought we had 100 laps to go, so I put an extra 2 gallons in the tank. I think that cost me about 12 seconds, and I really could have used that at the end.
Well, you are able to hold on and rally for second position here tonight at Charlotte. Going into next week, we stay up with the bigger tracks. We are going into Five Flags. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect from the 22 machine.
Well, I'll be there. What to expect? Really not sure. But while I got you, I would like to thank John Hedrick, Over the Top Paint Designs. He's great. These paint jobs are fantastic. And he actually paints all my cars in all the leagues. So thanks to him. Also, Jeff Wood and Jason Hughes for helping to put this event on. And I know there's one more, maybe Billy Wise, and then one other sponsor that came on last second. But thanks to that guy, too. And, of course, you guys in the booth, we really appreciate all that you do. It's really cool having this on the YouTubes.
All right. Well, congratulations again tonight. A very solid finish here in the Bump and Run opener at Charlotte. We'll see you next week at Five Flags.
10-4. Thanks a lot, man.
Well, there you have it, folks. Number 22, Coldwell Bankers Chevrolet coming in second position here tonight. We're going to go live now with the gentleman who's able to pull off victory here at Charlotte for the Bump and Run Street Stock Series opener. Very bittersweet, to say the least, West. You started 6th here tonight, got caught up in a couple of cautions, was deep, I believe, is 16th in the field is what I saw. Rallied yourself back through 12th to 8th, we saw a couple different times here, and then really it was that crucial pit stop after you guys come back on the third caution restart. About 20 to go, you decided to make that final pit stop and was able to beat Tribble off of pit road. Tell us a little bit about that moment and what it felt like to take over that race lead and know you had about an 8-second gap over that 22 car.
Yeah, the way that turned out was just, I don't know. There's no words to explain it. I mean, I got tangled up in a couple wrecks early on and was just stuck behind everybody all race long. And this is one of those tracks where you just can't pass anybody. So I figured, I'd be happy with getting back to the top 10. And then everybody started green flag pit stop. And I don't know, another caution came out right when I was about to pit. And I ended up having to pit due to being like, I don't know, 0.2 on fuel. So I had to come back down pit road, and I guess it stuck everybody a lap down except for, 3 people.
Talking a little bit about fuel, we noticed that in this series they're running a 30% fuel limit as denoted by the league rules. How does that come into play as far as when you decide your pit strategies to be able to stay competitive?
Yeah, I don't think the 30% is a big issue with these cars. I mean, we get a nice, good, solid run just like we do in all the other series. So, I mean, I don't have issues with, having to watch the fuel gauge on these. They're about, the same amount of runs as any other series we run in.
Well, next week we head into Five Flags, still staying at a little bit of the larger of the short tracks. What can we expect from this 4-car who's going to carry a lot of the momentum heading into that track?
Hey, I'm just glad that, everybody's back over here. We got Loose Lug Nuts as a team back together, and we're running this, awesome series we got in here. So I'm just going to do what I can to go out there and try to win them all.
All right. Well, congratulations. Any additional thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give tonight for your victory?
Just like I said, Jeff and John for bringing us back to Loose Lug Nuts. A great series to be in. These guys are a bunch of great racers. And, of course, you up there with Digital Forge Broadcasting. It's a great series.
All right. Well, congratulations again. We'll look to see you next week at Five Flags.
Thank you, sir.
Well, there you have it, folks. What a beautiful night of racing taking place here. We are going to join now by one of the guys in the race control booth. Jeff Wood joins me now to talk a little bit about it, get some final thoughts here on this Bump and Run Street Stock Series opener here at Charlotte. It was some great racing, some side-by-side race action. One of the things I think that you got to be proud being in the race control booth here tonight, only 3 cautions in 90 laps. With the amount of cars that we had on the field, a lot of good racecraft. It just shows a testament to some of the great skills that both Loose Lug Nuts and TWC VM share. What's your thoughts tonight, Jeff?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, we had a good, strong 25 car field tonight. Little cobwebs shaking out there in the beginning, but as you said, 3 cautions, last 31 laps, green flag ending. Hell of a race by the guys.
And with this being the first of an 8-race series, coming back doing street stocks, is there any foresight that you want to bestow upon their viewers out there who may be thinking about tuning in next week at the Five Flags race?
Well, you're gonna see the typical bump and run. Five Flags is a little bit known for that with street stocks, as are some of the other short tracks. But our guys have been racing with each other for a long time, so I expect another great showing. And you'll see the usuals up front, and hopefully we'll get some of our unusuals up front and running in there for the championship this series.
All right. Well, what a great night, and 90 laps to kick off this good grassroots racing series. Look forward to next week, and appreciate you taking the time to join me here.
Thank you, Dustin.
Well, there you have it, folks. A little bit of insight there from the race control man, Jeff Wood himself. Trying to keep these guys in line, does an excellent job. With that being said, let's take a look at the final results here tonight. Showed you the top 10, Wes Holland, Brian Tribble, AJ Brissett, Jason Covington, and Alan Manning rounding out your top 5. Extending on past the top 10, Bob Wells, Ralph Wheeler, Jason Hughes, Thomas Axum, Ted Quinzel, Travis Zudema, Billy Wise, Nick Reynolds, Thomas Wise, Danny Lawson through 20, Hedrick, Mattis, Campbell, Mellinger, and Heavener are going to round out your field here at Charlotte. Give a shout out tonight to our race sponsors, Wise Guyz over the top paints and designs, and also Race Gear. Check out that website, folks, powered by race fans. They got a lot of great news and merchandise. That's racegear.com. Links to the others are also found down in the description to this video. 100 laps on the docket for next week at Five Flags as the Bump and Run Street Stock Series rolls into that 1 mile track. It's going to be some great race action. You definitely want to hit that subscribe button so you'll stay in the know as to when we go live. But if you decide not to, you can catch it next Friday night at 10 o'clock. That is going to do it for us here tonight in Charlotte, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm Dustin Caldwell saying thanks for watching, and we will see you Monday night.